I live my life so different to what it used to be. Grease and oil and motorbikes, we rode as far as...
This is my friend Bob. He's 76 and is headed on a bike trip across Australia on his modified Harley Davidson. If you ran into Bob on one of these adventures, you might think that he's been in a wheelchair his whole life and that adventuring with a disability comes easy to him. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Although Bob has been a lifelong adventurer, doing it with a disability was never part of the plan. It was just 5 short years ago that Bob was in a tragic accident while in Malawi that took the life of his wife of 47 years and left him paralyzed. For many people, this kind of loss, especially all at once, especially at 71 years old, would be impossible to bounce back from. But for Bob, getting back on the bike and honoring the memory of his wife is what gives him purpose. This trip across Australia that Bob is about to head on is a journey home of sorts. Last year, Bob shipped his bike to Europe and went on a solo adventure for 4 months. When his adventure ended, he returned home without his bike and has been waiting for it to travel to Sydney in a container ship. As adventurers do, Bob decided to fly to Sydney and drive his bike the nearly 6,000 kilometers back to his home in Albany, stopping to see friends along the way. With every bike trip, Bob heals a little more, and along the way, he shows people just how resilient the human spirit can be. This is his story.
Hello, my name's Bob. I'm flying to Sydney tomorrow from Albany, Western Australia. So I'm flying from one side of the country to the other to pick up my motorcycle, which is a Harley Davidson Sport Glide with a modified sidecar. So what I'm doing, I thought I'd just show you how I'm going to take and what I'm going to take on this trip. So there's still 2 bags actually in the bike, which is in the container port in Sydney. And in there, my some wet weather gear, all the straps that I need. I think there's a slide board and a stick, pickup stick, and this and that. But I still got to take a lot of stuff with me. So I'll just go and show you. So this is everything that I have to take for this trip. And this bag on the left, the roll bag, has got 120 catheters in it, which I obviously need to take. That'll keep me going till about halfway through the 4-week trip. And then I'll get some dropped off at a friend's place. And then the front part of this is basically medical stuff, you know. So there's all my pills in that red bag and suppositories and things. And then there's some lube and some wet wipes. Then I got my laptop, that's the toothpaste and etc. in there, speaker, gloves, and then that one there is a jump starter in case the battery's flat. And then over here there's other bits and pieces. At the back, that's all the clothes I'm going to take, which is just t-shirts and socks and jocks and a hoodie and some shorts. And all that has got to go into this bag somehow. But that's my next thing that I've got to do now. So fun.
Won't you come on this journey with me?
Okay, so I'm in Sydney. I left Albany on Tuesday morning. I was up at 5 because I had to go to the toilet and everything. And by the time I do that, you know, bowel thing, shower, get dressed, it's normally like it's going on for 2 hours. By the time I was sitting down there for breakfast. And a friend came around to get me in the morning. We had to be at the airport at 9:15 to catch the plane. So all that was good. It was a great plane. It's only a local plane, but it was really good. And then one of my eldest daughter, Alex, when I met me in Perth, and she helped me with my bags. I wanted to make sure, I didn't want the 2 different planes to go and transfer my bags. I wanted to grab my bags and transfer them myself into the plane that I was going to take to Sydney, because I just don't want anything to go missing. So we did all that, and then I flew out. I think it was something like 3:15 in the afternoon, but there's a 3-hour time difference when you get to Sydney. So by the time I got to Sydney, it was 10:30. Airport staff, the plane staff were great. And then I had somebody with me to get my luggage, and actually ended up with 3 of them. They were just so good. And I'd already arranged for a taxi to come and pick me up. This took a little bit longer than I thought. So I was sitting outside for quite a while actually. And by the time the taxi arrived, I think it must have been about 11:45, something like that. This is Tuesday night, and I've been up since 5. So I gave them the name of the hotel, and unbeknown to me, there's 2 hotels with the same name, and we went to the wrong one. So he dropped me off, I got my bags, and then I got a reception, and then she told me I was at the wrong hotel. So I was like, oh no. So then I had to go and ring the taxi driver up. He wasn't that far away, so he turned around and come back and got me and took me to the right hotel, which he wasn't that far away, and he didn't charge me nothing. So by the time I got to my room, it was like 1:30 the next day from when I started off. So it was 1:30 Wednesday morning. Breakfast here is like from 6:30 to 9:30, so I didn't want to miss breakfast. So I was up for breakfast and I tidied all my mess up quite a bit. And then I went back to bed, man, I was tired. So, and I never sleep during the day as a rule, but I did yesterday. And so that was basically written off. Then I had a couple of beers last night and I just had a meal downstairs. So then today I went out to the place where I'm picking the motorbike up from, the bike. So it's been dropped off from the ship at the container port, and it's in a storage type of thing, you know. But so anyway, I had to go and wait for quarantine to go and inspect it. So I went out there today under the misunderstanding that I could have got it this afternoon, but they weren't doing it this afternoon. They're doing it tomorrow. So I got to go back out there tomorrow, but that's all right. I met the guys and they were all really good. I said I got a jump starter in case the battery's flat, but they said don't worry about it. They'll help me anyway. So yeah, so by the time I got back here, and you know, that's why I'm doing this. So and I thought I might just show you the room because this place is just so good. And it's a Holiday Inn Express. So the Express ones are cheaper than the normal one. But as for an accessible room, I reckon this is one of the best I've ever been in. So I've gone to the worst in France, and this is the best. So I'll just show you. So the bed is just brilliant. It's a good size, and it's not too soft, not too firm. It's not like 3 bears, but it's just spot on. It's really good. I got a slide board there. I mean, I alternate between sliding across and sort of jumping. It depends what the bed's like. So I'm getting on a bit, so I've got to be careful. And I'm on my own, so I've got to be doubly careful. And then more charging points. And this bench at the end there, I can get right underneath. It's just so good. The size of this, man, it's just spot on. So toilet, brilliant. That rail there, yeah, handy. Heaps of towels. That's my shower chair, commode thing that I take with me everywhere. And yeah, love it. The controls, showers, brilliant. Even the soap and conditioner is really good. And then over here, the sink, I can get my knees right underneath. So I just thrill the bits with this place. Really is the best. There's more battery trouble. It was flat. I don't know why. It was in transport mode. But we had a jump starter, which we done, and these guys here are great. I just let it run for a little bit before put the seat on, and then I'll shoot off. Hopefully.
We'll climb mountains in your mind. We'll cross deserts only you can find.
I thought I'd answer a few questions that have been put to me. So one of the first questions was, why am I doing this trip? I had to go to Sydney to go and get the bike because that's where it landed in the sea container after my travels in the UK and Europe and the Isle of Man last year. I could have got the bike transported from Sydney to Albany, but I didn't want to do it. I thought, I'll make a trip of it because that's what I like doing. So, and to see people. So again, this trip is all about seeing people, not really places. So Sydney obviously first, then 400 kilometres north. Should lead to Port Macquarie, which is where I am now. So Port Macquarie is where Charlie lives now. So Charlie, I mean, basically, man, he saved my life in Malawi, and without Charlie, I wouldn't be here after the crash. So I haven't seen him in 4.5 years, and we just had lunch, and this evening I'm going back there, and I'm going to ask him questions about what happened during that dreadful night that he stayed with me. So yeah, that's just so important. So to me, it will sort of complete the circle of that traumatic event. And I sort of done this trip also with my itinerary, in as much as I can do long days. We used to do 800 kilometers a day, easy, if not more. But I can't do that anymore. I've got to be aware of having sores on my bum. That means that I try and do about 300, which is, I mean, that's a cool sort of number. And I'm staying like 2 nights, like where I mentioned all those people, and 2 nights at the border, just to give my bum a rest. So it's all about my bum. I just don't want to get a sore. If I get a sore, I'm in trouble. So yeah. So tomorrow I head off to Singleton, which is about 300 k's southwest here. So I really sort of feel like I'm on my way.
It'll be new to you like it was to me. Gotta be strong and set your mind free.
So after I left Port Macquarie, I headed to a place called Singleton, and that was fine. And then the next day, I was heading towards a place called Oberon. And then in the afternoon, it started getting a bit dark and the clouds were getting blacker. And next minute, it started pouring down with rain. And I mean pouring down with rain. And I've got a visor I can pull down on my helmet. So I had that on and that down. And yeah, it was getting really difficult to see. And then I got something in my eye. And I don't know what it was, but maybe a bit of dirt or something, you know. Anyway, whatever it was, scratched it. And then my vision started going a bit. So my left eye was good and the right eye was sort of really watery. So anyway, I had to keep on going. So I kept on going. And then there was like streams of water going across the road. And so I was going through that, but that was all right. I was really careful and taking it easy on the bike. So then as I'm getting closer to Oberon, I'm really looking forward to getting there. The turning was coming up and it had road closed. So when I pulled up, there was a lady there from traffic management and she said, no, the road's closed because of all the rain stuff and landslides and whatever. And so I had to keep on going for another 10 Ks and turn down the most crappiest road you've ever seen in your life. And this was narrow, I mean really narrow. But the water was everywhere. And at one stage, I had like mud coming over the side of me from the sidecar wheel. And yeah, gee, it was really hard. And I was soaked. The rain had been so heavy, it had been through my wet weather gear. So I could feel it starting to trickle down my arm. And then you can start feeling it trickling down your chest. And it's just not very pleasant at all. Anyway, so I got my GPS, thank God, and I found the hotel or the motel in Oberon where I was staying, and it was only a little place, like about 12 units. And I pulled up and I thought, oh, where am I going to park? Because, yeah, I didn't want to stop outside the reception. I wanted to go and park by the motel room so I didn't have to go and sort of hop back on the bike again. Anyway, the lady there, the manageress, she come running out with an umbrella and a towel, and she said, I'm in number 10, I'll come over with you. So she come over. When I tried to get onto the wheelchair, I'm so wet and sticky with it, I was having trouble getting off the bike. So she called her husband, he come over with another brolly, so they're both there with their brollies, and then I get on the wheelchair, lower the ramp, get off, you know. And then the guy, he goes and unloads the bike for me. They were just fabulous, these people. Unloads the bike for me. And like I said, I was soaking. So I said to her, I said, look, can you do me a favour and take my wet weather jacket off? Which she did. And then underneath, or helped me do it. And then underneath I had my motorcycle jacket. So took that off. And then I said, well, do you mind taking my shoes and socks off? Because everything's awkward when you're in a wheelchair. And when it's wet like this, it's even worse. But I was dry. I was on the veranda. So anyway, she takes my shoes and socks off. And then I said, well, we're getting to know each other quite well. Do you mind if you take me pants off? So then she takes my pants off and my trousers, like whatever you're going to call them. And so I'm there in my jocks. So my T-shirt was wet through, so I took that off as well. So I'm sitting there in my jocks. It was quite funny. And then I get into the room, but they're going to put towels all over the floor because I would have wet everything. And then they put towels on the bed for me. And they took all my wet clothes to go and put in a dryer. Just amazing. So then I jump on the bed and get into my dry clothes that I had in a bag. And then they told me there was a Dialer pizza place. So I rang them up, got Dialer pizza. I had some whiskey left. And so it was a beautiful pizza, actually. It was really nice. And the guy delivered it to the door. And when he saw the bike and everything, he didn't charge me for delivery fee. So I just got it. So I ate that and had a good night's sleep. I slept like for 10 hours, which I never do. And the place was just great, absolutely fabulous. Next morning, or previously the night before, they brought over my dry clothes, which they put in the dryer. And then next morning, after I packed everything in my room and I was heading out, and like I said, it was quite late, and they came over and helped me pack the bike. I mean, they just blew me away. I just thought they were so, so nice. So then off down the road and off I go. And I stopped somewhere. I stopped for fuel and the bike wouldn't go. So the bike's going with the clutch in, except when I'm riding along. That's really good, with the clutch out when I'm riding along. But when I stopped and pulled the clutch in, it was in first gear, but the bike wouldn't go again. So I got this guy that was there. He helped fill up the bike, and then I needed to put it into neutral, so he put it into neutral for me, and then away I went. So I carried on riding along through these beautiful hills. Beautiful weather now. There's a bit of fog, but it was beautiful. And then I pulled over by the side of the road to go and do something with this GoPro thing, and I went to start the bike again, and the thing wouldn't go. And I'm like in the middle of nowhere on this really quiet road, so I was a bit pissed off. And I was trying all the switches and everything. Nothing would work. And I thought, this is weird, man. So I had to hop on a wheelchair, lower the ramp, get out. And I'm thinking, what's gone wrong? Why? Because I knew the battery was all right because all the lights were on the dial I got, like the dash. And so I thought, I wonder if I put it in neutral, if it'll go then. And it did. So, and at the same time, a guy in a Harley, who had a Harley, he came along in a ute, he pulled up and he said, how you going? And I said, all right. I was having a bit of trouble with this thing. So he said, well, I'll wait till you get going down the road before I go. People are just fabulous. So then I figured, right, I can't stop anymore expecting the thing to go when it's still in gear. So, but riding, etc., changing gears, fine when I'm riding. So I had 180 kilometers to go. I had enough fuel, and I thought I'll just go to Canberra without stopping. So off I go, a great ride, except this eye was just watering like mad. And it was really windy day. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, and the stronger it was, this was watering more and more. So anyway, I get to Canberra, I find this hotel, which is quite a nice one, and they'd reserved a spot for me in the parking area because it's right in the middle of Canberra and there's very limited parking. So, and they had my name, Reese, on the witches hat, so nobody else could park there. And then I thought, I'm going to a chemist, and so I went there, get something for this. They gave me some drops, and straight away it felt better. And we just thank God for that. But it was still sort of like watery and not very good. I caught up with this mate of mine, who I hadn't seen, that we'd been riding in Bhutan with, which is really good. And then another good night's sleep. And yeah, this place got a fabulous bathroom and everything. And so the next morning I thought I better go and try and get to the Harley shop. So this is Friday. And a lot of places just don't like doing new work on Fridays, the end of the week. Anyway, so I found out where it is, stuck it in GPS, away I go. So I had to do the neutral thing again. And then pulled up the shop, went inside, and I said, hello, I'm having problems with this thing out there. And by now it was like lunchtime, and it was like nothing was too much trouble. So they said, yeah. So the foreman from the head mechanic, he came out and he said, I'm pretty sure that's a clutch switch that's gone. So they checked it to see if they had one in stock. They didn't have one in stock. And obviously I wanted to get going the next day, so I couldn't wait for a new one to arrive. So they took one of the bikes in the showroom and put it in, and and then so the bike is back to where it was. So if I stop somewhere now, turn the ignition off and it's in first gear, I can just turn the ignition back on and I'll go again. So they were great. They were really great. And a coffee van pulled up. I got a cappuccino and a curry pie. I thought, wow, man, this is really good. So so then after that I come back to the hotel, and then I've just been downtown and had something to eat, and my eye is just 100% better. I'm feeling really good, so I'm looking forward to the ride tomorrow to Jindabyne, which is like through the snowy mountains, so that should be really good. And what I'll try and do is to take some film on this thing, because it really is pretty, but I mustn't flatten the battery like I keep doing. Okay, now I'm gonna head for bed.
We were gonna be together forever, but that wasn't meant to be. We had our share of fun and laughter, loved every minute of your company. But you can't control what the future holds. That was news to you and me. That was news to you and me. I sit here looking at my broken body, surrounded by memories.
I thought I'd show you how I pack the bike, so hopefully Brittany can speed her all up, but I'll show you how I do it. So it's a lot of fiddling around, and Dave, my mate, is helping me out here film it.
Chief cameraman.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, first thing, I'll do the easy things first. Got two straps front and back, so I've got to make sure when I do this that the commode is facing this direction. There's a lump by here, so I'll put a strap by there to stop it from moving. So I'm nearly there. I do have trouble with my hands.
You can see that, they're shaking.
Yeah, my back that's broke. I've got plates and screws in my hands. So I haven't got as much strength as I used to have in my hands. But anyway, so that's it.
Plus you're 150 years old. All of these things contribute.
So all I got to do now is put another pickup stick up in there, and that's it.
See the night sky sparkling, the sun, the moon, the galaxy, and the brightest light of all is you shining down on me. But you can't control what the future holds. That was news to you and me. That was news to you and me. One day we'll be together. Can't come soon enough for me. I know it's gonna happen. That much I can see. But you can't control what the future holds. That was news to you and me. But you can't control what the future holds. That was news to you and me. That was news to you and me. That was news to you and me.
Hey, so I'm in a little place called Port Pirie. It's in South Australia, and I'm actually taking a day sort of off riding just to go and sort of make sure I don't get any sores or anything like that, and just going to give my body a rest. So I just been downtown, had a cup of coffee, got some stuff from the chemist, and that was all good. But I thought I'd show you this room because I'm quite impressed with it. It was like 130 Australian dollars a night, which I think is pretty reasonable over here. And yeah, I like it. I mean, nothing is ever perfect, don't get me wrong, but I think this is pretty good. So I'll just try and spin this around without making you seasick. Over here, all this is complimentary bottle of wine, water, Kit Kats, but I've eaten them. And then you got the fridge, nice and low, and you've got all this space underneath the bench. Microwave, and I love this. This is one of the first places I've been where I can get right under the bench and close to my laptop. So just brilliant. And then to keep on going, it's a huge room, plenty of room to turn around. There's a bed there, which I obviously don't use. A lot of these places do, they have two beds. The shower. So the shower's got a nice big door. There's plenty of towels. It's a wet room, so there's no glass, just shower curtains, which is fabulous. Everything's down low, even the shampoo and the white stuff, you know. And this is low too. The handle's low. I just think it's really good. This is my commode that I travel with, which also becomes a shower chair. And then you got the rail around there, and even the sink I can get underneath. So yeah, it's just all plus plus, and even a low mirror. And the only thing, they had some stuff stuck up on the window there, which is a bit hard to get, but I carry a pickup stick with me, and then it was easy enough to get down. It was only tissues and stuff. All right, so that's really cool. It's a really nice shower. And then, whoops, and then to get around to the bed is huge. It's like king size, but I got all this room at the side here to reverse my electric wheelchair. And the best thing is there's some plugs here. So that black box is the charger for my electric wheelchair. And yeah, it's all just so easy. Yeah, it's a huge bed. I have a sideboard as well as a ordinary stick, just to be on the safe side, because I travel alone. It's a book I'm reading on Elizabeth Beard, who was the first English woman to travel around the world on a motorbike. That's my pickup stick, which is invaluable. I'm in Port Pirie in South Australia, and after this is Port Augusta, which is only about 100 k's. I'll fill up, I'll stop for a little break there, and then to Woodner, which is a very, very small place on the Eyre Peninsula. I'm on the Eyre Highway at this stage. So the Eyre Highway is about 1,700 kilometres long. It's the only bitumen sealed road between the eastern states and Western Australia. There's a couple other ones further up, the Centre and Gun Barrel, but they're a bit rough. Well, they can be all right sometimes, I guess. So there's really nothing much after I get going. There was nothing much yesterday, but there's going to be even less. So there's Port Augusta, like I said, and Sejuna is another place where you can get a certain amount of things. But apart from that, there's nothing. And it's sort of funny, after Port Augusta, you do about 70 k's and turn right, and then you just keep going straight on for 1,700 kilometres, and then I'll turn left to Esperance, and then right 500 k's and I'm home. So you don't really need GPS for this, you can't go wrong. But so it should be good. The temperature has been really pleasant now. It's about 30 today, which I quite like. But I know in 2 days' time it's going to be around 40. So that's going to be really uncomfortable. I hate when it's that temperature riding a bike, it just gets stifling. And then after that, it should start settling down a little bit again. And I think I'm going to be lucky with the weather. I passed massive trucks, and they'll have 3 trailers. I think I saw one this morning had 5. That's generally close to a mine or something like that. But these 3 trailer trucks, they're huge. So I've got to be very wary of the bike that with the wind, that they'll knock me around a little bit. So you got to be prepared for it. Past a big mine called Eyre, which is a very odd name for a place, but hopefully I'll take a bit of film of that. And it should be good. Today I think was the first time ever in my wheelchair I was rolling along the road just down into town here, and then it was over 2 railway tracks. So there was a train coming, so the train actually stopped and waved me on, and so I crossed the thing, and then crossed the railway tracks, and then after I left, the track kept on going, then the train went and gave a toot and away he went. So that's the first for me. Not many people have a train stop from. Okay, that's it.
Take me for who I am, dear lady. Take me for what I am, dear lady. You see things ain't right, dear lady. Maybe it's best tonight, dear lady. Then you'll see what you mean to me. Look past the scars of life, look deep inside of me.
I'm about to turn right. When I turn right, it's turning right for 1,600 kilometres to Perth. So it's a long way, and there's nothing much in between. There's just one town called Sejuna. I'm staying in a place called Woodnut tonight, which is really tiny. I think it's just a pub. But I'm all filled up and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to have a look at Eyre. Eyre Knob's a big ore place, but you'll see it, eh? Okay, be fun.
My body's in pieces, dear lady. My heart is broken too, dear lady. Life without you, dear lady, it's too hard to do, dear lady. Won't you come back to me? I'll do everything you see. I don't care what I gotta do, I'll do anything for you. Tomorrow won't change, dear lady. Next day will be the same, dear lady. I'll always love you, dear lady. That I surely know, dear lady. You got me, honey.
Okay, we've had some extreme weather this past few days. It's been like 40, 41 degrees centigrade, and sometimes you just got to ride in it, you know. I'm not keen on riding in that type of heat, but if you got to do it, you got to do it. So one of the tricks is really, I say the best thing to do is to get up early, which is what I did this morning. So I got up early, and then it's not too bad, but you're still going to cop it. So I think several things. One is you drink plenty, and I generally don't drink a lot of water. I drink other stuff instead. But you gotta drink water. So I'll make sure I got some water, which is handy. So in my pannier here, there's a bottle there. You can also carry one in your backpack as well, but I can reach this quite easily, even when I've got a bag in there. So it's just a matter of opening the lid and getting it out. So the other thing is the seat. So the seat itself can get really hot, and I can't feel if it's gonna burn my bum or not. So you need to keep it cool. They got all these different things out. I bought a mesh thing that fitted on the seat to stop the seat from getting hot, stop it from getting wet. But when I threw my leg over the bike, it kept getting jammed on that. So in the end, I found the best thing really was this, and all I do is carry in my backpack an old t-shirt or singlet and put that on the seat, and then maybe put the helmet on top if necessary, and that'll just stop that seat from getting hot. With the wheelchair, I've actually got a cover for the rain, but that's also good for heat as well. And I always wear a scarf around my face, particularly as I wear an open face helmet. You see there's a BMW scarf. Show you I'm not prejudiced. So I think those are the main things, and I stop plenty. I stop heaps, and you got to get off and move around. And so every time you got to get off and move around, put something on your seat, put something on there to stop your bum getting hot. And start early in the morning. Okay, catch you again.
Trapped inside this body of mine, tell you that I'm feeling fine, but it's a lie. It's a lie. If you could only read my mind, you see how bad things are inside. Life is hard, try not to cry, but on a front, you don't know why. 'Cause it's a lie. It's a lie. You look around you, so much is wrong. They tell you you're good and oh so strong. Struggle in your mind so blue. This life is right, but what can I do? Pass me the bottle, give me a drink. Give me the strength so as not to think. You hit rock bottom, you had enough. This life is driving you mad. Man, it's tough.
Everything's got to be planned. It's not like before we had the crash where we could just rock up to places and just see how it goes, or camp in a bush or wherever. Can't do that. So it's got to be planned. So I would ring up. You can do research on like booking.com and all the rest of it for hotels, but I would also always ring. So ring. Different countries got different ideas about what accessible accommodation is, and it was better in Europe. But you would ask for a wet room. So wet room, for example, has curtains around the shower, not glass, so it makes it more accessible. They're generally bigger rooms. They're the best. But you've got to ask them everything, so you can get around. It is accessible. There's no steps or anything like that. You've got to say that you're in a wheelchair, because they'll say this is accessible, but not if you're in a wheelchair. I had places that said it was accessible, but when I got there it wasn't, and the reason why was because their idea of accessible was it was on the first floor, which is crazy. So ask as many questions as you like. I would also ask them about parking, because I got this bike which is highly modified, as you know. It's like a one-off, and it's got to be in a secure parking spot. So it's no good having off-street parking where you got to park the bike like 100 meters, 100 yards away. That's no good. It's got to be close to the hotel. It's got to be preferably by the entrance or by your room. But there's several reasons why. One is security. Even though I got alarms on this thing, and I'd use a disc lock as well, which has got an alarm, you still want it in a secure position. And if there's any cameras, that the hotels use, you stick it under there. Another reason for it is you've got to carry your stuff into that hotel, unless they're very kind and go and help you to do it. So one of the things that you use, so suitcases are no good, you need roll bags. So roll bags are easy to tie onto the bike, and they're easy to carry. So there's only about the width of the wheelchair. So I'd have two roll bags on the back of the bike. The one on the back seat was full of catheters as a rule, and the one on the luggage rack, which was a bit heavier, had all the bits and pieces and spare shoes and wet weather gear. So, and then there was another bag, inner bag on a pannier on the bike, which was quite small, and that was basically for electrical charging stuff and different things like that. And then on the pannier at the front was, on the box at the front was another inner bag, which was only small, with some clothes. And then I got the commode as well. So all those have got to be carried into the hotel, so you don't know it miles away, you want it close. And the other thing you can ask them actually is it on the side of a hill? Because you can get a hotel like this on the side of a hill. So you park the bike there, and it's different to a car. It's really awkward, you need that bike to be safe, you need to be solid, you have your brakes on. But if it is sort of like awkward, you've also got to hop under your wheelchair. So check everything out before you go. Check everything out. And when you get there, if it's not right, then that happened a few times, and I got them to find me another place. Often I'd have to ask them to go and shift beds, because I wouldn't be able to get down the side of the bed. And every now and again I would get to a room where I need to charge my electric wheelchair up each night, and quite often the wall plug would be under the bed, because they've designed it and then they just chuck this bed anyway. So check that out. I always took a extension cord with me for that reason, and wall plugs end up in crazy positions. One of the other things that I carry in that big bag on the back of the bike is my wet weather gear. So it's really awkward putting wet weather gear on when you're riding. It looks like rain, you pull over, and you've got to do it before it starts. And you start putting you got to put over, pants which go over your jeans or whatever. You've got to put a wet weather jacket which goes over your normal jacket, and you've got to put boots on. So I would generally check the weather, Google it. It's much better now in the old days. So you can Google it, have a look out the window as well. And if it looked like it's going to rain, then I would put all my wet weather stuff on the bed even, just to make it easier, because it's awkward, it's bulky, it's awkward. My motorcycle boots have got, the laces are like this long, it all takes a bit of doing. So the easier you make it for yourself, the better. Back to your preparation, another thing to go and take is a really good first aid kit. So again, you're riding a bike, you're exposing yourself to a few more elements where you could cut yourself or whatever. One of the problems I had was with my electric wheelchair, I kept bashing into things which do, and the mudguards on the front, they ended up broken, and there were some really sharp edges, and I was cutting my feet. So then what I would do would be to go and I'd have really thick tape, not electrical tape, the 100-mile-an-hour tape, the thick stuff, and then you could tape over those sharp edges to stop your feet from getting cut. There was other things I would take. Good idea to go and take a burns kit, so in case you go and burn yourself on that exhaust. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, you need to go and do something straight away, because like with me, I did burn my leg and I can't feel it, and it wasn't until I took my jeans off at night that I thought, oh God, there's a big blister like this. So you need stuff to go and put it on, because you don't want to get an infection. So to get all that stuff up first, I think, so you're ready for it, and then once you put it all on, and then it's easy enough to go to a chemist and restock everything. But so that, I think that's really important. And also make sure you got essential spares, you know, for the bike, and even stuff like electrical tie downs that are invaluable these days, CRC, whatever, you know, tape, maybe a selection of tools, because even though not many people work on the bike these days, you've got I've got that platform on the side, which is there's plenty of nuts and bolts there which should come loose, you know. And one of the things when you're doing a long ride is, say, once a week, is to check it all. Go over the bike, check all your bolts, check all your nuts, make sure nothing's loose, check your tires, etc. You know, check your oil. You got to keep doing all this stuff. So it's slightly different on a bike, but all that is part of the fun. You know, it would be easy for me to go and drive a car all over the place, and I got a car, but I'd rather ride the bike. It's more fun, but you got to be prepared for everything. So yeah, tools are really important. First aid kit. In my bike, I've actually got another battery in the box which is at the front of the bike, and so if the battery on the bike was dead as I was riding along, the other battery would be charged up, and then I just press a button and the other battery kicks in, and then that'll get the bike going. So that's quite essential too. And the other thing is the ramp that I got on the back, you know, that you've seen come down, that actually works off the battery in the box, not off the bike battery. Because if one battery goes dead, I mean, the last thing you want is to be stuck on the bike trying to get off, which happened to me once, and you can't get the ramp down. So yeah, look at everything and think about everything, you know, and then plan around it. And the other pain in the ass is bloody fuel, getting fuel, so petrol pumps. So you pull up on the bike and I can't get close to the petrol pump. You know, it's generally on an island, and the bike, you know, the handlebars, everything is quite wide, so that don't help. And then I've got to get the hose, and then when I put it in the hose in the tank, I can't, because I'm so low and the tank's so high, I can't actually see how much is going in. So it's a real bloody pain in the ass. So most places want to help you, because these days they say there's service stations in Australia, but there's less service than what there used to be because they cut down on staff. So I would sort of suss it out as I got into a service station, and I'd ask somebody, I'd say, hey, you know, excuse me, mate, or whatever, can you give me a hand? You know, I'm a paraplegic, and can you give me a hand, put some fuel in? And I didn't have anybody refuse. Everybody helped. So that's the main way I do it, the main way. There is a fuel app in Victoria, in the eastern states. I think it was the only state. And you can, on the fuel app, you press the button, and there's different service stations come up, and it tells you where they are, how far away they are, and then you press another button, and you speak to them, and you let them know that you're coming, and then they're there waiting for you, and you rock in, and they'll fill it up, which is really good. Okay, I think they're the main points.
Well, my life's so different to what it used to be. Greasing all